Hi, second grade. This is Mrs. Bickle, and I just want to let you guys know that I really miss you guys, and I hope you're all doing really good. What I wanted to do today is make a little video and show you how to make a clay chalice and host for your First Communion. Now, I know your First Communion isn't going to be coming up at the normal time, but when it does, we will have our chalice made, and it will be ready to go. So, I'm sending home a white paper bag. Okay, looks like this. And inside the paper bag, now don't ruin the paper bag because you will need it for something else later. So in the paper bag there is air dry clay. There is a little piece of Model Magic, and there is some gold paint. Now, you must be careful with the gold paint because this is acrylic paint and it will stain your clothes. So when you are using it, please be careful. And I'm also including a brush. Now, a paintbrush. You can just return these brushes whenever, okay? So those are the things you're going to need to make your clay chalice and host. Now, you might want to use a paper plate to build on because air dry clay is super messy. I mean, really messy, okay? So it'll be in this little Ziploc bag here, and then as soon as you take it out, you squish it. Now, once it starts to hit the air, it dries kind of fast, right? So you can see it's pretty messy. My hands, stick to my hands. It sticks to everything. So how to get started, okay? Now, a clay chalice. A chalice is what the wine is served in when you go to Mass. Okay, that big fancy cup, that gold cup that you drink out of, that's a chalice. So we're going to be making chalice and host. Now, first what I want you to do is go to your Model Magic, because this is going to be our host. All right, and this we don't have to paint, we don't have to do anything with it, but I'm going to show you how to make a really easy host. And this stuff, I love Model Magic because it is not very messy, it's nice and clean. So you roll it into a ball. Okay, a nice smooth ball, okay? Then put it on a flat surface, take your thumb and press down. Now when you press down, you'll get a perfect little circle shape. There's my host, okay? I'm gonna set that on my little bag here that it came in, and this will dry, okay? Don't put it back in the bag, just leave it out to air dry. Usually takes like a day, and then it'll harden up. Okay, so done with that, pretty easy. Here is our clay. Now, you're going to squish it in your hands and feel how squishy it is. And then you're going to make a nice smooth ball. You see I'm just rubbing it between my hands here. You can also kind of work it on the plate too. But remember, whatever it touches, it does make it kind of dirty. So try to get it smooth as you can, like a ball. Okay, so when you have that done, set it down, all right? We're going to start by making kind of like a little pinch pot shape, like a little pinch, where you pinch like a pinch pot. So you take your thumb, and you're going to turn it upside down, and you're going to stick it in that ball. Okay, so you make this little hole like that. You see that? Okay, now take your fingers, pinch, pinch, and pinch, turn, pinch, turn, pinch. See how it's getting bigger? Pinch and turn, pinch, turn. Okay, so this hand is my little turner. This one is a little pincher. Okay, and you'll start to get a little bowl shape. And I'm going to go a little bit faster here. So you'll start to get a little bowl shape, and then you'll get enough room to put both your thumbs in there and your fingers. Okay, now we still need the stem for our cup. So you have a little bowl shape. Now take this part and pull this, pinch and turn. Now this is always very tricky. Okay, it's always kind of tricky and kind of hard for people to do. But while you're doing it, pinch up top here so it gets kind of smooth. Now, this is something you might have to try a couple times. If you don't like how it looks, just squish it back up in a ball again and then just start over, all right? And that's okay. It happens all the time where we got to start over. Make sure you don't have any like holes in here or where it's really thin. You can see how it's starting to get a little bigger down here. And then you can get where you can kind of set it up some. See that? Okay, now if it falls over, that means you've got to fix it. Kind of press it down a little bit so that it can stand. You want to make sure it stands on its own. It has to stand on its own. Okay, it has to stand on its own because if it tips over once it's dry, it'll crack. Now, if it does crack, all you need to do is just take maybe a little hot glue gun, and you can glue it back together. All right, so the next part is I have a little water cup. So when this clay dries, it's very hard, okay? Like, you know, cups or plates at home, like when they're ceramic, they're hard. So if they fall on the floor, they break, okay? As opposed to like plastic, if you drop plastic, like if I drop this plastic cup on the ground, it's not gonna break. So make sure your chalice is standing up, okay? Make sure it's kind of straight so it's not leaning to the side. Take a little bit of water, not a lot, and just kind of smooth the surface a little bit. Kind of go around, you know, if you have any bumps or any little pieces sticking out, you can smooth it. Don't use a lot of water though, because it does make it a little bit weaker and want to kind of tumble over. Okay, so make sure it stands on its own. All right. So just a little chalice. It's not very big. Now these are, you know, little water cups I have in the art room. So it's about that high. It'll be about that high, not too big. Okay, so the next step, and I can't do that right now because this clay is wet. So you have to let this sit out in the air for probably about a day, okay? So 24 hours, overnight would be fine too. Now what I want you to do is maybe move it to the little plastic bag that it came in, because when you put the wet clay on this paper plate, it tends to stick to the bottom here, okay? So the next day, let's pretend this is sat out all day, it's dry. Now we're gonna use our gold paint, okay? Now remember, this is acrylic paint, so what I want you to do is you take your paintbrush, put a little gold paint, and start on the inside. Start painting on the inside of your cup first. That way you can still hold it, okay? And then it'll be dry, so you can lift it up and then paint on the sides and go all the way around. Now, you can also take this little bag here and you can turn it around like a little turntable, okay? So paint, 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 paint. Make it go all the way around. And make sure you get all underneath, all the way around, so that you don't see any of the clay showing. Now, do not paint the bottom. Do not paint that, because that'll stick to whatever surface you set it on. So when it's dry, what I want you to do is take like a pencil, like a dull pencil, and I want you to write the date of your First Communion. Now, obviously we don't know when the First Communion is, but it will happen. So you can just kind of write your date down here at the bottom. Okay, you can write your name too if you have room. But so you're gonna write that down there. Okay, and then that's it for that. Now, with this bag, what I want you to do is I want you to decorate your bag. So you can use whatever you want, crayons, markers, colored pencils, make it nice and colorful. I want you to put your name on it. I want you to put the date that you make your First Communion. Maybe you want to put where you're going to make it at. And, you know, you can draw like a little picture of like a cross or a chalice and host, things that represent your First Communion, and make it nice and colorful. Now, remember, these bags will close up like this. So you don't want to open up and have this big white space here, okay? So you decorate all the way around, okay? And then this also ends up being like a little carrier for your chalice and host to kind of keep it safe. So when it's dry, then you'll just put it in here, okay? When it's dry and the paint is dry, don't be putting in there when it's wet. And then you can put your little host. So then we have our little host, and then we have our little chalice, okay? And we're going to pretend that this is painted and it's all neat looking, okay? All right, so that's all I have. Good luck making your chalices. Remember, when you're done, take a quick picture of it, send it to my email, my school email, and then you don't need to turn it in, so don't turn it in to me. Just send it to my email at lbickel, B-I-C-K-E-L, at setonrcs.org. All right, I miss you guys. Take care.